So what is up, guys? Soda the Savage back, and today I am here with my Panthers and Saints recap. This was one hell of a game, but the Saints prevailed and won 27-24 as they go 4-2, as the Panthers fall back to 3-4. So yeah, it was a very good game. So of course, gonna get into the general recap. You know, gonna do my individual player stats, and of course, grade as much as I can. So anyways, without further ado, let's get this video started. Alright, so starting off with our general recap of the game. Starting out, so of course, I think the Panthers won the coin toss. They elect to defer, so Saints get the first ball. So, you know, we go down the field and made a lot of damage. I think we killed off about 8 minutes, and we ended with a 4-yard pass from Drew Brees to Jared Cook as he threw it, and Jared Cook kind of juggled it, but caught the ball and got 2 feet in bounds, so that was good. So, and then the Panthers, when they get their ball, they kill off some clock, you know, make some progress, but they end up settling for a 43-yard field goal, so I'm like, okay, not too bad. You know, the defense, you know, made a stop when it mattered most. Anyways, then the Saints, we got the ball again, and we had, once again, another long drive, and it ended with a Drew Brees 1-yard touchdown as he does his classic fleur-de-leap, as he just kind of jumps over the defense. So good thing. So now we are up 14-3, but then the Panthers, when they get the ball, Teddy Bridgewater skies out a 74-yard touchdown to DJ Moore. And it was, once again, the reason why it happened was because Marcus Williams there was like a little bit of confusion on the coverage between, like, I think it was like Chauncey Gardner-Johnson and Marcus Williams. Marcus Williams lost him, and DJ Moore was just gone. And so on the very next drive, the Saints, you know, we make our way downfield, and we're on the 25, but on a 2nd and 10, Brees gets strip sacked by Brian Burns. Now, the reason why it had happened was because Brian Burns was going up against Ryan Ramczyk, and somehow Ramczyk failed the coverage, and Brian Burns just went right for Brees, stripped the ball, sacked him, and recovered the fumble. And the Panthers, they get the ball, and then they drive down the field, and then they end with another touchdown pass to DJ Moore. This time a 7-yard pass, so yeah, so anyways, then we get the ball. We got like a minute and a half to hopefully get a score, and Drew Brees ran a phenomenal 2-minute drill as it ends with a 4-yard touchdown pass to Deontay Harris. Now, it was pretty risky because we had like 5 seconds left, and we decided to go for the touchdown. I said, we just have to do a quick pass, and if we fail, well, let's just make sure that we're not short of the end zone. Fortunately, though, he throws it to Deontay Harris, he catches it, gets 2 feet in, and he breaks the plane. And then we just kicked the ball off. We just did like a squib kick, and we just ran that right into halftime. And then on the very next drive, so opening kickoff of the second half, you know, the Panthers, they have the ball for a little bit, but then we force a punt. This is the first punt of the game, so defense, once again, it was just like we got scorched once, just one bad scorch. And then on our very next drive, we drive down the field, and unfortunately, we have to settle for a field goal. But Will Lutz kicks the 41-yarder, and we're up 24-17. And then on the very next drive, the Panthers make some efficient progress and go in as Curtis Samuel caps off the drive with a 5-yard touchdown. And then the Saints, a lot like the very first drive, this one was over 7 minutes. We drove down the field, but eventually it was 4th and 6 with 7 minutes and 55 seconds to go, and Will Lutz once again kicks the 43-yard field goal. And so then on the very next drive, so the Panthers, they get the ball, and, you know, they make a lot of damage. They keep going downfield, but the big play was 3rd and 11 on the Saints 39. So Bridgewater's kind of running around, and all of a sudden Marcus Davenport gets the sack, and we take him back to the New Orleans 47. And it's 4th and 19, so a big decision had to be made. And the Panthers went and tried to kick a NFL record 65-yard field goal. I think like the longest attempt was like a 73-yarder. Now, of course, Joey Sly, he kicks it, and it was right down the middle, but he was short by inches. He was inches away from it, and I feel so bad for him because, you know, that's a hard kick to make, and the only way you're making that is if you're in a dome, or if you're playing outdoors, you want to be playing in Denver because the higher elevation, the air is thinner, the ball will travel further, or if the wind's in your favor. So yeah, I knew a 65-yarder, I knew that's going to be tough to kick. Now, the one thing that I did critique the Panthers for is that if I were them, I would have tried to pull an offside. Now, they didn't really try to pull an offside, so they could have had like a 60-yard field goal, which Sly probably would have made. So the Saints, we just end up running the ball out, and we burn their final timeouts, and we win the game. So now on to individual player stats. All right, and now on to individual player stats, starting out with the man himself, Drew Brees. Now, going into this game, Michael Thomas was going to be missing it due to a hamstring injury, and Emmanuel Sanders was on COVID-19 reserve, so I'm thinking, great. Top targets are Tre'Quan Smith, Deontay Harris, Marquez Callaway, Jared Cook. I wasn't sure how much Cook was going to be getting, but considering what Drew Brees had, he did a phenomenal job. You know, he threw for 287 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. He got sacked once, and unfortunately that was the strip sack. And honestly, that was the only mistake he made. Yes, of course, he was throwing short passes. He does that a lot. Like, we rely on like short passes, screens. But honestly, if it's what leads us to victory, I'm totally okay with that. But when push came to shove, whenever he had to make some long passes, he did well. So Brees, I'm going to give him a 9 out of 10 for today. I would give him 10 out of 10, but the strip sack is the only thing that's holding me back. In terms of rushing, Alvin Kamara, we definitely let him eat more, as he had 14 carries for 83 yards, followed by Latavius Murray as he had 47 yards. So the rushing game was pretty good. We had 138 rushing yards, we had 6 from Taysom Hill, and we had 2 from Drew Brees, which of course was the fleur-de-lis. And so the main receiver for us today was Marquez Callaway, the rookie, and he did very well, had 8 receptions for 75 yards, no touchdowns, but you know what, that's okay. He was really reliable, considering he's, like, normally he would be probably our, like, 5th string, like our 5th wide receiver, because it would go Michael Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders, Tre'Quan Smith, Deontay Harris, Marquez Callaway. So yeah, in terms of receivers, he's definitely 5th on the depth chart, but he stepped up and did well. Alvin Kamara once again did well on the receiving part, as he had 65 receiving yards. That was pretty much it. Tre'Quan Smith, after he had a pretty lackluster week against the Chargers, he made a bit of a comeback, had 54 receiving yards, but the touchdowns, they went to Deontay Harris, as he had 4 receptions for 46 yards and a touchdown, and Jared Cook, 3 receptions for 32 yards and a touchdown. Jared Cook this year has been kind of like a reliable target, and yeah, he's been getting a lot of touchdowns this year, kind of like relying on him as our big end zone threat. But I want to utilize Jared Cook more, because he's an above average tight end. So yeah, the offense today, I'm going to give them a 9 out of 10. Like I said, I would give them higher, but the strip sack was the only thing I was faulting them for. The O-line did an amazing job, despite the strip sack, but that's okay. And for the defense, it's getting better. Like, against the Chargers, we were getting scorched way too often. We only had 1 bad scorch, and that was pretty much it. But the defense did well, forced only 1 punt, but that was pretty much it. Like, we did well against the rush and got the biggest sack of the game, which was the 8-yard sack against Teddy Bridgewater, which set up their 65-yard field goal. And pretty much also back to Will Lutz. He did a good job with kicking today, so very good on him. So like I said, Saints offense, I'm giving them a 9 out of 10. And the defense, I'm going to give them a 6.5 out of 10, because, yes, we struggled a little bit more. It wasn't as bad as like how we did against the Chargers. We forced a punt. Of course, our secondary played better. The front 7 was great, as we limited the Panthers in terms of rushing, and we kept it under 300 yards. So obviously, that's good. Still some work to be done, but I currently am seeing the defense take a step in the right direction. And with the Bears next week, with their offense being super inconsistent, hopefully we get a bad Bears offense so we can kind of just capitalize and have a good defensive game. Anyways, now on to the Panthers. Teddy Bridgewater, the narrative was that he returned, and even though we had a bad week against the Bears, he did well against the Saints, as he had 254 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, and got sacked once. He had 10 rushing yards, so, Teddy Bridgewater was very good. When he was in trouble, he was very good at evading sacks, but that one sack was very costly. But anyways, in terms of rushing, Mike Davis got absolutely nothing going. Only 7 carries for 12 yards. And the only one to have a rushing touchdown was Curtis Samuel, as he had 5 rushing yards and a touchdown. In terms of receiving, your leader was DJ Moore, as he had 4 receptions for 93 yards and 2 touchdowns, followed by Robbie Anderson, as he had 6 receptions for 74 yards. Followed up with Curtis Samuel, as he had 48 yards, Mike Davis with 24, and that's pretty much it. So your offense, I'm going to give them an 8 out of 10 because the pass game was pretty good. Could have been better, but the rush game, I cannot give you any credit. Your rush game was awful. So that's why, I'm actually going to give your offense a 7.5 out of 10. Just because, the pass game was pretty good. Could have been a little bit better. But the rush game is what's holding me back. That's why I'm giving you a 7.5 out of 10. Your defense, you did well. And, of course, Brian Burns with a big strip sack. Secondary was not good because, the only, the Saints just kind of got you on the pass game, even though it was a lot of short passes. The secondary didn't do well. So your defense, I'm going to give them a 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10 is what I'm going to give them. So the Saints, the overall grade that I'm going to give you today is a 7.5 or an 8 out of 10. I'm going to give you 7.5 out of 10 because, doing better on offense. Defense, well, secondary was a little shaky. So if we can fix up those secondary woes, we will be set. On the Panthers, I'm going to give you an overall grade of 7 out of 10. You did well, you kept it close, but your decision to go for a 65-yard field goal was awfully risky. And it almost worked out. I feel bad for Joey Sly because he was just off by inches, and that's just it's just an awful feeling. But you know what? Good game to you, Panthers. Something that I like about you is that even though I hate you, you have a team, your team has a ton of promise. Teddy Bridgewater's a good quarterback. Without Christian McCaffrey, Mike Davis is pretty good. He's solid. You got the most underrated receiving duo in DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson. Your defense, it's young, it's not that great, but, your guys are decent. So your defense is definitely got a lot of potential. It's young, so I'm excited to see what you got for the future as the general football fan, part of me says. Even the Saints fan, I got to say, you're pretty good. Stellick, where's my money at, buddy? Where's my money? Anyways, on to the outro. And that is going to wrap up my video for today. Thank you guys all so much for watching. If you want to see all of my other prediction videos and all of my other Saints recaps from this season, links to all that will be in the description below. Make sure you drop a like to this video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Comment down below what you thought of the Saints game. Should the Panthers have gone for the 65-yarder or should they try to pull the offside? Anyways, also make sure to follow me on Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok. I've been grinding out TikTok. Posted the hardest TikTok dance I've ever done yesterday, so make sure to check that out. And thank you all for watching. Have a great day. Who Dat Nation is out.